Ken, I think you might want to mute.
Hmm?
Ken Chepper, I think you might want to mute
Why?
because you're breathing hard.
Oh. Well, maybe I should see a doctor.
Well, it's better to breathe hard than not breathe at all.
That is a very good point.
So keep up the good work.
Is anybody in the room?
I'm not sure. They might be shoveling in.
Blair said there were some brave souls there.
You sure that was brave?
Got to thank our staff for showing up so we could be here.
There has to be at least one person in the room.
Yeah, Open Meetings Act.
Slow commute.
We got about an inch up here, I think, maybe a little bit more, not much. Anybody, what's it down south?
Oh, quit your bragging.
I think we're looking at 3 or 4 inches.
Oh, we have way more than that. I don't know who said we only had 2 to 3 inches of snow at 6 a.m., but there was at least 5 to 6 out there this morning at 6.
Yeah.
I think we got
I
a
didn't
couple
go
more
out there
inches
with
since
my
then.
ruler yet.
We've got
2
at
to
least
3 might be Elgin.
we've got at least a foot of snow in Elgin.
Wow.
Yeah, I heard you're going to get 78 inches. Maybe
Elgin
by
got at least a
Saturday.
foot already.
Yeah.
I opened up my garage door and I said, that looks like a foot.
You're right. It couldn't possibly go out.
I was just estimating from my window here, so.
I didn't go out with my ruler yet.
Happen.
You have to look at the cars, someplace that was clean yesterday.
Well, mine, where I had a snow shoveled along the sidewalk, is matching up to where it was piled up at.
Oh, yeah. I'm shocked that, they canceled school in some places, but 129 and 131 are still going to school far as I
Yep.
know.
Well,
The
yes.
worst part of it is that it's Groundhog Day, which means it'll happen all over again.
Today.
Right.
Gonna happen
Isn't-
again today.
Well, I guess I'm going sledding.
Surge is here.
Of course, ought to be full with snow.
Oh, man. Sir just made it out of the snow pile.
Driveway blown, computer rebooted for the third time. I'm in. Woo!
Right.
Well, we didn't start yet, Cliff.
Okay.
Well, I'm on
thank
my
you.
second cup of coffee.
I'm on my second dog walk, so hey.
You mean Nugget didn't get lost?
No, just, she actually got stuck in a snow pile. She had a good time getting out of it.
Yeah,
I move we adjourn.
I second.
All right, well, I'd like to call this meeting to order.
Oh,
Now, Vern, now you can make the motion.
May I please do roll first? So it's about 9:06, 9:07 on February 2nd, Groundhog's Day, and I don't think our groundhog here is going to be able to see his shadow today. So we're looking forward to winter. Continuation, 6 more weeks? Is that what it usually is? 6 more weeks of winter? Yes.
Oh, it's the other way around.
It's the other way around.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh, okay, well, good. Early spring. Excellent. Daffodils are coming quickly. So it's February 2nd, 2022. Clerk, please call the roll.
Bates,
Here,
Berman,
Burma's here.
Ford,
board present.
Ross,
Brad's here.
Davis, Gums,
Comes here.
Kenyon,
Throw some
Caius?
big nay.
Highest present.
Martin,
Martin present.
Molina,
Molina present.
Sanchez,
Sanchez here.
Strathman,
Strathman here.
Sturgis,
Surge is here.
Tepe,
Pepe here.
Shepro,
Present.
Eurog.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Very good. Mr. Kenyon, could you please lead us in the pledge?
Davis here also, sorry.
West.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
Thanks.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Did you get Davis for roll call?
Yes, sir, you're in.
Thank you. Sorry. I was.
There was, before we go to the approval of the minutes, I know that they were sent out a little late yesterday, but it was only because we were disconnecting computers, moving desks around and organizing the office. So apologize that they came out a little later than usual. But Karen has done a sterling job of getting everything ready in the midst of moving through 2 office changes and computer setups. So she's fine. So may I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the January 5th, 2022 meeting?
Brad's moves.
Highest.
Mhm. Are there any thoughts or changes to these minutes? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Bates, Bates,
yes.
thank you. Berman,
Berman, yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Board, yes.
Ross,
Brad's yes.
Gums,
Comes, yes.
Kenyon, Caius,
Highest, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Sturgis,
Surge is yes.
Tepe,
Pepe, yes.
Shepro,
Present.
Eurog.
No, passes. Is there any public comment? Is there any online? No, no public comment. Mr. Onset, could you please present the monthly financial report?
Good morning, everyone. I really don't have anything new to add than what I provided for the Finance Committee, other than to confirm that the 1099s and the W-2s that we had been working on were all issued by their deadline of January 31st.
And I have heard that people have been receiving those. Is there anything else, Mr. Onset?
No, there's nothing else. Thank you.
Are there any questions for Mr. Onset?
Shepro?
Yes, Mr. Shepro.
Yeah, Mr. Isaac, were they put in the mail or were they sent via online?
They're available online. Well, as far as the W-2s are available online, the 1099s were sent out through the mail.
Okay. But the W-2s were not mailed out.
No, they're available online through the employees access. There may have been a few, like for former employees who no longer have access, but as far as our current employees, it would be available online.
Thank you.
All right. Besides the update on revision of County Code 2-48, just a brief report on that. Before we start with that, is there any other old business? None? Very good. Mr. Iqbal and Mr. Kayas and Mr. Shepro, can you please just give us a brief update of the work that you have accomplished so far?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. Iqbal.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. This is an ad hoc committee, and I would like to present the background to it. About before Christmas, we had a discussion, and you encourage that we put together a modification that we think are necessary to the code. This section 2-14, 2-48, pertains to the board, working of the board and the standing committee. And reading of the code, I realized that there were a lot of areas that were not clear or were left unattended. We had a lot of information about the committee of the board, full board, but not the standing committees. What are the responsibility of the chair? What are his powers? Vis-a-vis the department heads, jurisdiction, all these issues are sort of open. Sometimes they are not, a lot of times they are. So I put together a modification and a draft and presented it to you, and you asked that we meet in the committee, and we did. We discussed it, and it was sent over to the state attorney's office. Yesterday, I met with Ms. Neerman, and she promised that she would appoint someone to look at it. So that's where we are. As we know, we have only a few months left in our terms, and we want to leave a legacy of a good working platform for the next board. There are a lot of issues. Everyone has come across something that they want to put in the code. Now is the time that we come together and work on it and make it a better document. Mr. Shepro had another amendment, and he will present his part himself, I believe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Iqbal. Before you sign off, there were a number of recommendations from our department heads, which I would like to encourage all of our department heads to read it. And if you have any comments that you would like to submit, please do so. But have those been included, Mr. Iqbal?
Yeah, the department head, Mark Wenkerhoff, is putting together the amendment to the jurisdictions of the committees. And I have not looked at it, but he is doing it, and I believe I will meet with him and review it and pass it on to everyone.
Okay. Okay.
The
very
committee that he is looking particularly are the development committee. I think the job committee is impacted. I think energy committee is a new committee, so some of the things that were being done by the development committee are no longer being done by that committee. They're gone to energy committee, and so forth. And everyone, every chair actually is encouraged to look at the jurisdiction and raise issues or find out what needs to be changed in their jurisdiction, particularly the relationship with the directors, the departments, who has a disciplinary power over department heads. Those are the issues.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Shepra.
Well, wow. I just have a lot of concerns about what was just said. First, I want to compliment Mr. Iqbal for working very hard on this. I have to take issue with the characterization of this as an ad hoc committee. And when we had our last discussion at, I believe, this committee, there was discussion about it was not intended to be an ad hoc committee. I would say just about everything that Mo said, other than the fact that there was one meeting that included Mr. Iqbal, Mr. Kayas, and myself. Since that time, everything that he has relayed is news to me. There has been no further meeting. Part of the reason I think there has been no further meeting is that the state's attorney office continued insistence on this rule of three, so-called, has made it essentially impossible for anybody to have a conversation of this nature without, frankly, publishing, having a formal meeting, minutes, etc. And there are none for this group at this point. I guess I would also say that I think it was originally my idea to bring this forward to deal with a very simple issue, which was the proliferation of ad hoc committees and the belief that the ARPA committee had an ongoing function, and it made more sense to have it become a standing committee. Since that time, unfortunately, it has just taken on a whole new life. And every time I turn around, it seems to have had more baggage added to it. There has been some of the discussions I've had with department heads have indicated that they are troubled by what they see as a reshuffling of the deck as far as jurisdiction. There are issues related to who's going to report to this committee. Is this committee going to take over grant funds that are traditionally been confined to other committees? Rewrites, as Mr. Iqbal says, some of his proposals are looking at major changes to the definition of how committees work, committee powers. And I frankly think that it's gotten way beyond, and I've heard concern from some board members that felt that these amendments were targeted at particular individuals and particular committees and committee chairs. And I frankly feel at this point that we ought to throw this away and start over again, if at all.
I would like to have our state's attorney address truly what the definition of an ad hoc committee is. If it's sustained for a multi-year purpose that can consistently be ongoing, or is it something that is attended the way I believe an ad hoc committee is, that has a short-term range and ends, can meet perhaps annually, but it is a very short-term brief committee, not something that lasts through many, many years. So that definition would be most helpful to be able to assist this potential addition of a new committee, a new standing committee.
Madam Chair, Surges, if I may.
Yes, Mr. Surges, of course.
My concern right now is that we seem to be layering many ad hoc committees and not doing the work within existing committees. And somebody made the comment to me, and I'm not suggesting this, I'm just relaying a comment, that if we don't think we like what's going to come out of a committee, we'll just change it to an ad hoc committee and change the members. And my response to that individual was, that is not my perception. However, I will admit there's a lot of ad hoc going on, and I don't understand why we're not just doing the work within the committee, that are already established. And I just wanted to make sure that I verbalize that, because it does lead to some confusion. We already have committees. We're already defined on what we're supposed to be doing. Why would we layer a new ad hoc? I just don't understand that. So I just wanted to relay that.
Thank you. And truly, I would agree with Mr. Shepro. I asked 3 board members who stepped up and said they'd be interested in reviewing this, the ordinance, County Code, no, I'm sorry, County Code 2-48. All fine minds, all have interest. And as anybody knows, when you've got 3 people who say, hey, I'd like to participate in this, you don't turn that down. You welcome that. So this is an informal group of the board who have volunteered and generously volunteered to go through this and to suggest some revisions and updates. I'm not sure when the last time this code was updated, but I believe it probably maybe 10 years ago, if not more. So I think we all agree that it needs to be rewritten.
So, Madam Chair, if I
Chair?
can follow up on that just a minute, Surges.
Yes, Mr. Surges, and if
So
we have some other comments.
Within the ad hoc committee, are we suggesting that those ad hocs report back to a specific committee or just straight to executive? But I'm not understanding the workflow on that.
And that should be something that, well, if you follow the Riverboat Fund, that can be considered an ad hoc committee. It meets for a short period of time. It's done within, 4 or 5 meetings maybe. And that report then is given to finance, I believe, for review and acceptance. Memory serves. And then.
And that would make sense because its parent committee then is finance.
Correct.
So very defined, I get that. But as other committees are formed, I'm just trying to trace where they report to, are birthed from, I don't know what the right phrase is. I'm sorry.
And I know, I understand that flow. And that's what I think we're looking at. Yes, Mr. Shepro.
Cliff, at this point, there's been no discussion that I've been a party to your question about to whom does the ad hoc committees report. There's nothing in the county code that says how ad hoc committees report. There are, and I don't know that it would be a given. I think your point is very well taken. I think that's part of the confusion as to exactly what do they do, who do they report to. But as far as I know, that has not been covered and remains to be a significant issue, and remains to be, I suppose, another reason why I'm concerned that this project has gotten way beyond what was originally intended as a narrow and simple addressing of a particular problem. And whatever we call it at this point, it appears that it has metamorphosed into a ad hoc committee, although not stated as such. But I think the Civil Division will tell you that the label is irrelevant. It's what they're doing and how many people are doing it that matters.
Okay.
Madam Chair?
Madam Chair, may I
Kaya?
speak?
Yep, Mr. Caius, please.
Thank you. Yes, my understanding when we first volunteered to do this, the three of us, was that this was going to be sort of a loose study group to examine the code and make recommendations without report except to the chair and to the committee itself until we have some idea of where we were going. My suggestion early on was to define what our ultimate goal is, just as Mr. Shepro has said, that it's kind of started as something and then it's evolved a bit. I think that as a group, we need to define clearly what our substantive goals are, and then proceed along those goal lines so that we're not doing like what we're doing right now, which is having a lot of discussion about a lot of different things that we really can't do anything about except discuss at this point.
It seems to me that a simple task has turned into Pandora's box.
Exactly.
So what I would suggest, if I may, gentlemen, is that you communicate with each other as best you can, even if it's through perhaps one of our state's attorneys, and then define what your next steps are. And we'll be meeting next week, full board. And I'd like you to at least give what you, one of you, please agree to do the report and to present what you feel your tasks are going to be. And at that time, we can vote or decide if we want to put this into a formal ad hoc committee that will have open meetings. And you'll be able to get appropriate input from other board members and definitely from our department heads.
Madam Chair, this is John Martin. May I speak?
Yes, of course, Mr. Martin.
I find myself very concerned about the fact that that apparently whatever the group is called, I'm going to refer to them as a committee because I think that's what they are, has gotten so far as they've submitted, there has been submitted a draft of a proposed document to the state's attorney's office without there apparently being any consensus or understanding of that group that this is what in fact they want to do. And I have a lot of concern about what in fact the design of this was. I mean, I too understood that there was a very narrow focus on this, and I would suggest that this is probably not appropriate for a discussion at the regular board meeting, but would be a committee of the whole discussion where we could begin to determine what in fact we believe to be problems. Some issues I'm going to assume are as simple as we've changed the makeup of things and this committee is now doing this and this committee is now doing that. But I have great concern about overall changes in the committee system based upon what I've heard today. And I think that we have nothing productive to discuss at next week's meeting. And really believe that the process ought to start over. And first determining what in fact the board feels there to be, the board as a consensus feels needs to be addressed. This whole circumstance seems to have assumed a life of its own. And unless I've missed something in my emails, I get the impression that the thought is we're going to be given an ordinance that to review and approve that we may not even agree as a group in concept, discusses areas that we find to be relevant or important to our operation. So I think that this task needs to be reconsidered and reordered. And I don't think that it will be productive to have any kind of a conversation at next week's board meeting. I don't see how the group can meet, how if they have to, they can comply with the Open Meetings Act. I think that we, I hate to just say start over, but I think that we don't really have a procedural option, but to create some bullet points of what in fact we believe need to be accomplished here. But we can't proceed if we haven't even had the group that's supposed to be working on it having arrived at a consensus as to what the document is.
Mr. Martin, just a little history of my understanding this, and we won't belabor this any longer because we have much other to talk about. But the metaphor of Pandora's box is exactly correct. Tear down a wall, all of a sudden you need to do many more things than you had anticipated. And that's exactly what happened when this code started being looked at. All of a sudden, some of the committee descriptions were antiquated. Words were no longer necessary as a description of committee function, description of what the committee does. Things have been evolved greatly since that time. Some of our department heads were courteous enough to take the time to review what the description of their committees were and what they are now. And there was a number of edits and suggested changes to update this. So where the scope was, you're absolutely right, very simple. Many other things were discovered in the code. Now, I'm unaware of Mr. Iqbal presenting this information to the state's attorney. I'm sure that the draft is a great place to start, and I commend him for taking that and doing that. And I thank you, Mr. Iqbal, for taking that lead. And of course, for Mr. Shepro for his concern and trying to understand the ramification of adding a new standing committee. With that, perhaps at the next meeting, we can bring Michelle Neerman in. We can develop that ad hoc committee and make that recommendation and start moving that forward. They have to meet to be able to present some kind of full understanding of what needs to be done with the code, because it does need to be updated. And absolutely, we can have a committee of the whole where the old code can be presented to you with appropriate updates. Committee chairs can step up and speak on why they feel that this needs to be changed. Committee heads, department heads will be there as well to speak about that. And I'm sure that there's several other things that need to be addressed as well. This whole issue with the plethora of ad hoc committees that seem to be sprouting as we have additional work that needs to be taken care of. Perhaps we could add that as an addendum to this to define what an ad hoc committee is so that going forward, we have some rules. So that I think is very important. So we have operating procedures. We know how we are to move forward. So I hope that'll be all right. It'll be a very quick report and we can move forward on that and we can form an official committee if need be.
Madam Chair Bates, please.
Yes, Ms. Bates.
I definitely want to agree with Mr. Martin. I think this looks very inappropriate for such a huge proposal to be sort of surprised on us like this. And I don't think it's appropriate even to take to the board. I agree we need a committee of the whole. And it looks very concerning for the Open Meetings Act.
Well, they have not broken the Open Meetings Act at all. I'm positive that has not happened. And Ms. Bates, we have to, it wasn't a surprise to the board. This was spoken about as we started taking a look And I mentioned it when we were looking at developing an additional committee, standing committee, that it was going to be represented. So that was clearly addressed to the board, but it does lie in the jurisdiction of this county code. So it's no surprises, no changes have been made, and I would encourage all of our board members to pull it up, print it out, start reading it and taking a look at it, and you'll see very clearly why it needs to be updated. So with no further comment, and thank you for this robust conversation. And again, please, let's commend Mr. Iqbal, Mr. Shepro, and Mr. Kaios for standing up and volunteering to lead this discussion. And I look forward to their continued service on this evolving issue. So thank you. Is there any new business? Hearing none. We are now on to a preliminary county board agenda, and Ms. Molina, could you please move this first item?
Yes, good morning, Madam Chair and fellow county board members. The first item on our agenda for consent is an IGA between the City of Aurora and the City of Elgin for the execution of the 2021 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grant Program. And I have Sheriff Hain on the line. He'd like to provide a little bit more information regarding this resolution.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, Mr. Hain. Well, Sheriff Hain, welcome.
This is thank you. This is an annual grant that we receive along with the City of Aurora and the City of Elgin. And this is just to accept $18,237 as part of the grant.
Could you just explain a little bit what the grant is, the purpose of the grant?
Sure. So in performing governmental functions or in paying the performance of governmental functions here under, I'm just kind of reading through the statement of it. This has been historically. We usually use it just to cut to the chase. We usually use it to pay for our online training and policy system. So that's an annual cost of $15,000 to $20,000.
That's a lot of feedback.
Can you hear me okay?
It's difficult to hear you.
How about now?
There's some humming going on somewhere.
Okay. I'm going to try and switch to my phone so you can hear me better.
It's on your end.
So this is an extension of the grant, but hopefully he gets back online. This is something that we've done prior. I think it ended up going to executive because we just missed the deadline for our public safety committee. So I make a motion to move on to consent to the next board meeting.
Very good.
Martin seconds.
I second.
Mr. Martin. Great. Mr. Martin seconds. Thank you. Please call the roll.
Bates. Bates.
Bates, yes.
Thank you. Berman.
Berman, yes.
Davis.
Davis, yes.
Ford.
Ford, yes.
Cross.
Yes.
Gums.
Gums, yes.
Kenyon.
Yes.
Caius.
Caius, yes.
Martin.
Martin, yes.
Molina.
Molina, yes.
Sanchez.
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman.
Strathman, yes.
Sturgis.
Sturgis, yes.
Tepe.
Happy, yes.
Shepro. Bureau.
Yes, very good. Thank you.
I think I was muted. I vote yes, Shepro.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shepro. Mr. Berman, are you ready to present finance? And
Yes. We'll go through each item and not vote on the item, but vote it in entirety. If you have any additions or corrections, whatever. If you have any additions or corrections to the item, we'll
include that. So item 1 is authorizing correction of fiscal year 20 ARP revenue recoupment and related transfers and miscellaneous account number corrections with a balance of $34,330. Any discussion or questions on that? Item 2 is amending the fiscal year 21 budget, rollover funds from GASB 84 implementation services and for an accounting function and a tune of $8,650. Item 3 is authorizing rollover of funds and amending the 2022 fiscal year budget from the state's attorney's office. And this is an item of $20,000. Item 4 is authorizing transfer of fiscal year 22 extradition budget from the state's attorney's office to the sheriff's office, an item for $30,000. Item 5 is authorizing the fiscal year 2022 budget adjustments for $1,065,217. Item 6 is increasing the sheriff's user fees. And that was published and it shows the different items that will be changed. Item 7, authorizing participation in the appellate prosecutors program. Comes from the Judicial Public Safety Committee, $48,000. Item 8, authorizing an emergency food service contract for the Kane County Juvenile Justice Center. And I understand this is one that's really saved us some money. This is a tune of $23,760. Item 9, authorizing contract extension for the Kane County Snow Plowing Service for fiscal year 21, $160,000. And item 10, and I understand Mr. Martin has a whereas to add to this.
That is correct, Mr. Berman. This involves a change order to the special service area water project that we have in Ogden Gardens in Aurora. After the design was approved and the contract standards put together, the Illinois EPA revised or changed or made further comment on some of the standards, specifically that they wanted a larger tank and the accommodations for that. This change order was prepared, and in the course of its review, the Department of Housing and Urban Development asked that a specific finding be made by the Director of Water Resources and the state's attorney that this in fact was appropriate as a change order and not a change to the scope of work. So the language that I am proposing be added to this in the context of its presentation is the following. Whereas the Director of Water Resources and state's attorney have determined that the additional work requirements stipulated by the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency constitute a change order and not a change to the scope of work originally contained in the specifications competitively bid on August 12, 2021. I'm uncomfortable in a typical circumstance making changes at the last minute, but this is simply an add-on of a procedural requirement by HUD. And as you all have heard, it makes no change in the motion. It just acknowledges that in fact there's been a staff and attorneys review to make certain that they concur in its appropriate nature.
All right, we'll recognize that as a whereas, and we won't have to take this. Other than that, it is a change order with the Integral Construction Incorporated for the construction of the Ogden Gardens Water Tower Trust Water Storage Tank and Building to a tune of $119,739, which changes the total of that to $420,259. Item 11, repealing section 2-196A of the Kane County Code and replacing it with a new section 2-196A depositories for funds of the county treasurer collector. And that's from Treasurer Kilborn. Item 12, authorize renaming of Fund 252 and creation of Fund 265 in compliance with Department of Treasury Equitable Sharing Program requirements. And item 13, rescinding authorization of creation of toll bridge sales tax reserve fund for Fund 306. And item 14, amending the King County financial policies to clarify use of budgetary savings resulting from vacancies. And this is from Human Services. And item 15, amending the King County financial policies to add policy regarding educational assistance. And item 16, approving the December 2021 claims paid of $16,702,394.81 from our auditor.
Mr. Berman, Martin moves approval of all of these, including the verbal modification of item 10 related to the Island Gardens Water Project.
Thank you, Mr. Martin.
Clerk, please call. Are there any?
Berman second.
Berman seconds. Thank you. Any other questions, comments? None. Clerk, please call the roll.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Ford, yes.
Froz,
Raz, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yeah.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Sturgis,
Sturgis, yes.
Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Pepro,
Shepro, yes, but I will ask to have item 15 removed at the board meeting.
Yes, thank you. Before we go on to our next item, since we're still on finance, we've received a message from payroll that all the W-2s were also mailed to all employees. So do expect that to be in your mailbox. Human Services, Mr. Sturgis, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Blair, are you online?
I am.
Okay, I think we're missing an item from Human Service. Oh, did you just add that? Madam Chair, I am looking at the document that's on screen and I'm looking at a document that was online. One of them says Human Service. I have them both up on my screens right now. One of them says Human Services, only one item. And the one that I have on screen right now is correct and has two items. And I'm just wondering why there was a discrepancy there.
Karen said that the agenda does have two items on it.
Does.
And
Okay,
that's been
the one
confirmed.
that I just clicked on online does not have one of the items. And I just don't want that to be an issue at all.
Which one are you missing? Which one do you not see?
Item number, the item number 1, executive director salary. And item number 2, tuition reimbursement is correct that Blair has on screen, but online, item number 1 is only the tuition reimbursement policy.
Yeah.
Mr. Sturgis, this is Blair, Madam Chair, if you don't mind.
Oh, no, not at all.
Will you catch me offline and we can figure out where you're pulling that from and see if I can figure out why you are seeing something different? The one that was posted to the county website is the one that I currently am showing.
Mr.
Okay,
Frost.
perfect, because
Hold,
that's the
Mr.
correct one, the one that I'm looking
Question,
at on screen.
Shepro.
Hold, gentlemen, everybody, hold on, Mr. Frost.
Fraz speaking. Yeah, I'm actually on the county website agenda, and both items are on there. Item 124 and 126 are on there, Cliff.
Okay. And I believe I did mine from the calendar and clicked on through the agenda on the calendar.
That's also how I did it. So I'm seeing both.
Yeah, I'm showing
Sure.
page 2 of 912 pages, and it only shows human services with one item. So
So if you're-
anyhow, as long as we're on screen and that is acceptable and correct, I move item number 1 and gesturing the,
Excuse Mr. Sturgis, Mr. Shepro had something to say before.
Yes,
we
ma'am.
I
Sorry.
do, sorry, I just was gonna say that did not item 1 emanate from a special human services meeting?
yes, sir.
I think that might be your explanation, but in any case, as you say, they're both there now.
They're both there now on this screen, but on the other screen that I just clicked on for the link, it wasn't there. And I'm just making
Okay.
sure that it's okay. You know
We'll
what
go
I'm saying?
offline and after the meeting to make
Perfect.
sure that we can walk through to make sure that everything is online the way it should be posted. But we have confirmation from 3 different people that's saying that public can see it. So please continue, Mr. Sturgis.
Perfect. Well, we have 2 housekeeping items. Item number 1 is adjusting the salary for our new executive director. While we were able to offer her the job, we needed to go through a formal process to offer her the salary. And we've now completed that through committee and are bringing it through to the county board via executive. The money was budgeted and is under budget. And the second item is amending the tuition reimbursement policy in the personnel policy handbook.
Are there any questions on this?
Move for approval.
Yes, please. First,
Motion we approve.
and do we have a
Second,
second?
Kenyon.
Thank you, Mr. Kenyon. Clerk, please call the roll.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Ford, yes.
Bras,
Raj, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Sturgis,
Sturgis, yes.
Epi,
Tepe, yes.
Shepro.
Shepro, yes, but I will ask item 2 to be removed from consent at the full board.
Pirog.
Yes. Very good. Passes. And Mr. Sturgis, I would like to commend you and your committee for hiring an exceptional executive director. Well done. And that also plowing through this tuition reimbursement policy and presenting what I believe is to be an excellent policy product to the board for their consideration. So thank you for that work.
Madam Chair, I know Jamie is listening online as well, and we both appreciate your kind words. Thanks.
No. We'll expect much from her, and I'm sure she'll over-deliver.
Thank you.
Judicial and Public Safety, Ms. Molina.
Good morning, everyone, again. Judicial and Public Safety has one item we'd like to move to the consent agenda for next Tuesday's meeting. And this is just amending a resolution from December's meeting for an IGA between Kane County and Kendall County for the housing of detainees. I make a motion to move this.
Second, Kenyon.
And Mr. Kenyon seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none and hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Ford, yes.
Bras,
Raj, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Sturgis,
Sturgis, yes.
Epi,
Tepe, yes.
Shepro.
Shepro, yes.
Yes,
That passes.
very good. Public Health, Mr. Sanchez. Jared, you're muted.
My apologies, Madam Chair. I don't know what was going on with my phone there. But yes, we have one resolution from Public Health, and I would move and ask for a second for authorizing the adoption of the 2021 to 2024 Community Health Improvement Plan by the Kane County Board.
Kenyon would second that.
Very good. Are there any discussion or comments? I just have one clarification, please. We're in 22 and this is 21. So are there goals that have already been established in 21? Or why does it go backwards and doesn't start at 22? Just curious.
I don't actually have the answer to that, and I don't know. I think Cannell was on the line. I'm not sure if Kathy is, if they could answer that. Otherwise, I can get the answer for you, Madam Chair.
Oh, there's Kathy. Ms. Foster?
Good morning. So yes, so we align our community health improvement plan with the hospitals and the Inc. board. So this is just the way that it has to be. It's actually because of, it just dips into December. So, and it's a 3-year. So the health department actually only has to have a 5-year plan, but we align ours with the hospitals and the Inc. board because it makes sense throughout King County through the community. So it's a 3-year plan. So.
When you mentioned the Inc. board, how about all the other 708 boards? Are you aligned with them as well?
They are not in with us. I mean, we can certainly look to that for the future, but from what I inherited, it's the 5 hospitals and the Inc. board that's located in Aurora.
Perhaps the committee may want to consider going forward that you align yourself with the other service agencies within the county. That may be just helpful, be a little bit more inclusive, but that'll be up to your committee. Ms. Allen, I think you had a comment.
Yes, I just have a little bit of history. We are required to do this, and the hospitals are required to do this, and there's a cost attached to that. So I believe that Executive Director Barb Jeffers many years ago worked out a consortium where everybody contributed to the cost of building this plan every few years, and everyone could use it. And since our window was larger, a 5-year window, and we narrowed it to a 3-year window, which means we're doing it more aggressively, more often, more responsibly to the needs of the community. That's why it made sense for Kane to adjust its schedule to match the hospitals, and this lovely benefit of it being a cost share. And I believe the Inc. board was included because it has a budget and wanted to be part of this, and that's how they became involved as well, if that's helpful. Thank you.
Thanks, the great history. Thank you. Thank you. If there's no other questions, please call the roll.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Ford, yes.
Bras,
Raz, yes.
Gums,
Yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Bias, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Sturgis,
Burgess, yes.
Epi,
Epi, yes.
Shepro,
Abstain.
Hero.
Yes.
The pass.
Okay, very good. Transportation, Mr. Frost.
Madam Chair, I have 9 items. I'll move all 9 items and ask for a second.
I'll second.
Burgess, seconds.
Okay, Mr. Kenyon seconds. Items 1 through 3 are standard annual budget allocations of motor fuel tax and federal funds. This is to cover maintenance operations and the county's portion of the county engineer's salary. Item 4 approves 10 adopt the highway renewals. Item 5 establishes a 45-mile-an-hour speed limit on sections of Long Meadow Parkway. This is between Route 31 and the eastern terminus, Route 62. Item 6 approves a contract for construction with Deconstruction. This is for the Orchard Road and Route 30 intersection. Should make Mavis happy. Item 7 approves a Phase 1 engineering agreement for to look at the disposition of the Fabian Parkway and the Settlers Hill Drive intersection. If you're familiar with that area, it's right now it's just a temporary light. And with the completion of Settlers Hill and some other things going on in the area, we want to plan for the future and having a permanent intersection there. Item 8 approves an engineering concept study. This is for Randall Road from Route 20 north to the county line. It's about an 8.4 mile stretch. This is what's called a multimodal study, and it involves looking at walking, sidewalks, bike paths, bike crossings, pedestrian crossings, bus access, safety, and all those related issues in that very busy stretch of Randall Road. And the last item, number 9, approves a contract for construction with Builders Paving. This is for resurfacing Swan Road, which is off of Main Street Road west of Caneville. That's all I have.
Okay, very good.
Comments, Shepro?
Yes, Mr. Shepro.
I believe that there is a typographical error in item 6.
Of Coal
Can you be
City.
more specific?
It's of
Yes.
Coal City, not or
Yes,
Coal
I
City.
believe it's of Coal City and not or Coal City.
That's correct. We'll make a change on that. So it's Deconstruction, which is located in Coal City, Illinois.
And we're not contracting with Coal City, Illinois.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shepherd.
Very good catch. I would, Mr. Frost, when the budget, state budget gets passed, I believe that there was a potential reduction of motor fuel tax that is being proposed. I just, if you can give us an update, if it does, the state budget gets
When that
passed.
occurs,
Correct.
yes, we will
On how
talk.
that may impact the county.
Definitely.
Thank
We'll-
you.
We'll do.
Appreciate it. Any other questions? Clerk, please call the roll.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Ford, yes.
Bras,
Raj, yes.
Gums,
Comes, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Pius,
Pius, yes, especially
Mar-
number 8.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Sturgis,
Burgess, yes.
Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Shepro,
Shepro, yes.
Hero.
Yes.
Passes.
Okay, very good. We are now, nothing else. We're going to be moving into executive session to review the previous minutes, closed session minutes.
Comes will move to go into executive session to release or to review the closed session minutes.
Berman, second.
Thank you. Clerk, please call the roll.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Ford, yes.
Bras,
Raj, yes.
Gums,
Comes, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Pius, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Sturgis,
Burgess, yes.
Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Shepro,
Shepro, yes.
Hero.
Yes.
Passes.
Okay, we'll need a minute to get everything transitioned over. Quick question, should Neerman and Brady be included?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, everybody, please accept your invite to go into closed session. Remember, we are live streaming. So until I confirm that we have successfully started the closed session, anything you say will be going out live to the public. So watch for those invites and give us a moment. We're still waiting for a couple of people to accept the invites. Okay, is there anybody hearing my voice that feels they should be in the closed session? Just waiting for YouTube to catch up. Okay, you are back in open session.
Madam Chair, Shepro,
Yes, Mr. Shepro.
I would move at this point to adopt the resolution with respect to the release of the closed session
Shepro,
minutes.
I'd like to put that on hold for just a second. We have to call the roll. Clerk, please call the roll.
Bates,
Bates here.
Berman,
Berman here.
Davis,
Davis here.
Ford,
Board present.
Bras,
I was here.
Gums,
Gums here.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius present.
Martin,
Martin present.
Molina,
Molina present.
Sanchez,
Sanchez here.
Strathman,
Strathman here.
Sturgis,
Sturgis here.
Pepe,
Tepe here.
Shepro,
Shepro present.
Pirog.
Here.
Thank you.
Mr. Shepro, please continue.
I would move to adopt the recommendation of the state's attorney as incorporated in Exhibit A to the proposed resolution and pass the same.
Martin
Board
second.
second.
Mr. Berman seconds. And clerk, please call the roll.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Board, yes.
Bras,
I was yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Sturgis,
Sturgis, yes.
Pepe,
Tepe, yes.
Shepro,
Shepro, yes.
Pirog.
Yes.
Yes.
Very good. Now, are there any committee reports? Silence.
If it's time, Kenyon would move, we adjourn.
Thank you.
Get out in the snow.
As a-
Madam Chairman, this is Alan.
Yes, Miss Allen.
Not to preempt Mr. Kenyon, but from all of those of us who are cuddled in our cozy homes, can we say thank you and commend Madam Chairman and Messrs. Brown and Kenyon and Froz and Berman for dashing out into the snow and representing us in the boardroom. Good morning.
Dashing through the snow.
And our staff there as well. Thanks, staff, as well.
Yes, thank you, staff, as well.
Always.
Yeah, don't forget.
This, we couldn't do it without our staff. Absolutely. Thank you, Ms. Allen, for those kind words. Dashing through the snow with a, one horse open sleigh. Yes.
I was going to ask Miss
Created the
Allen.
visual.
I was going to tell Miss Allen that the cookies would be nice right now.
Oh,
Virtual.
chocolate chip. Chocolate chip.
Virtual cookies.
No,
I got a
Mr. Frost.
I got a toast strap for your drive home. Let me know.
All right, very good. We have a motion and a second. Kirk, please call the
I
roll.
need a second.
We need a second.
I second it.
Berman,
Berman, second.
and that's by voice.
By voice. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very good. Safe drive
Aye.
for those of us who are traveling around today.
Stay warm. Be safe.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.